Hi there, welcome back to another video on my channel. Let's try this again now, shall we? Okay, I just want to apologize for the last couple of videos that went out. I decided to try to be responsible this year and try to batch record content to save myself some time in general with all the stuff I have going on between writing and social media and stuff. My life can get really busy, so I thought, okay, let me batch a bunch of content for y'all to make more YouTube videos, right? Because I'm trying to post more frequently on this channel. I didn't realize in doing that when I recorded, my mic wasn't even turned on or plugged into my computer. So all of that audio you heard was literally coming from my laptop microphone recorder thing, and it sounds so bad, and I am so sorry. I edited 2 videos and just realized, you know what, like, this isn't the quality of content I want to put out, so I ended up deleting some footage of some other videos that I had already recorded, and just got rid of all that because it just wasn't nice quality, and I wasn't really happy with it either. So again, my apologies for that. I did make sure that the mic is turned on in this, so I'm going to try using this toner mic, and hopefully the audio will be a lot better for you guys in general. Yeah, so anyway, apologies for last week. So I also kind of fell off the horse a little bit because I wanted to record a more author Wednesday stuff, and my first video that I planned was actually a video about anthologies, but I realized that like the content for that was only going to be like 2 minutes long, so I kind of just turned it into like a reel slash TikTok format. And then I realized that YouTube Shorts is only 60 seconds long, and the information I presented was in a 2-minute format. So if you want to learn more about anthologies in that video, you can definitely find it on my TikTok and my Instagram. It's just a really brief description of what they are and like why authors choose to submit short stories to anthologies. So if you want to learn that, that's on there. I apologize. I recorded it vertically, so I could upload it to YouTube, but then the ratio would look weird on the video stuff. So yeah, it's been a rough January, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I'm here, and this is going to be our first Writers Wednesdays on YouTube. Yay for 2023. And boy, do we have a topic to talk about. Yes. So anyway, getting back to the main thing, authors. Authors behaving badly. Hello. I think I'm going to title this video something pretty sassy about like white authors and like why they need to stop doing what they're doing. And I want you to know that this is me holding my own people accountable, right? Like, look at this. I'm trying to hold my own people accountable, okay? So before people in the comments say anything weird or nasty, the call is coming from inside the house, okay? So I know that like people feel uncomfortable when discussing race sometimes, but I just would like to encourage all of you to keep an open mind and an open heart while I give people some valid criticisms. Okay, so the first incident I'm going to talk about is about Cait Corrain. She is, and I've watched a ton of videos breaking this down, and this isn't something that's like super brand new, but it's still relevant enough. I'm going to mention some channels or videos that I watched that I found particularly helpful, because I'm not going to go through the entire history of what happened. But basically, Cait Corrain was a debut author. Her first book, Crown and Starlight, was supposed to release this year, and she kind of had the deal that like a lot of us authors dream up, right? Like, she got an agent, she got published, and it's her debut novel, and it had beautiful cover art, and everything was all set to go. But then, based on probably insecurity and a lot of things, this author decided to make a bunch of sock puppet accounts on Goodreads, or fake profiles if you don't know what that means. Basically, she made a bunch of fake profiles and review bombed people she considered to be competitors in a way. Although, okay, listen, I am a firm believer that like authors, and especially creatives in general, but other authors aren't your competition. Like, when you work in a creative field, that's just not how these sorts of things work, because it's not like viewership or your customers or your readers or whatever. It's not like whoever's consuming your art. It's not a finite resource, right? Like, because people like certain things, and so if you like sci-fi movies, you've probably seen more than one sci-fi movie, and you probably rewatch more than one sci-fi movie. That's okay. Like, we all share our consumer base, so there's really no need to compete. But people feel insecure for a number of reasons. So she made a bunch of fake accounts on Goodreads and started review bombing other people, even her own peers at the same freaking publishing house. Yeah, even her own peers at the same publishing house. Like, she was just kind of like one-starring their books. And even an independent author, a queer independent author, she one-starred. Basically, other people, I think her book is like a Greek retelling. So like a sci-fi Greek retelling. So she was trying to do that to people who had similar themes in her books, or people that she viewed as her competition, right? Which is already bad enough to do. You really should. I don't think review bombing when authors do that to other authors is so dirty in my opinion. Like, there's really no need for that. But her reasonings are just even worse. So most of the people that she review bombed were people of color or authors of color, right? So it starts to kind of look a certain way. And there was one person, and I'll put their name on here, and I saw their TikTok initially. That's like when I first learned of this. They really took it upon themselves to deep dive and investigate, because they are all part of an author network and an author group chat. And they just thought it was really fishy, because all the accounts that were review bombing these other folks, they were giving Cait's book 5 stars, right? That was the one commonality between all these sock puppet accounts, is that they were reviewing Cait's book very highly and very favorably. So this person did some digging and was trying to put all this evidence together, and it eventually came out. Like, everyone put together, and they were accusing Cait of doing this. She initially denied it and said that it was a friend of hers, who she met through the Reylo fandom, which is Rey Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Oh my god, it's Rey Skywalker. People who ship those two, Rey and Kylo, right? So she said it was somebody she met through the Reylo fandom, and that they were doing this on her behalf. She pulled up all these screenshots of them having conversations, and this person just kind of flipped a switch on Cait when she said that, I didn't really appreciate this, and trying to paint herself as the victim, and so she sent this among the authors group to try to explain herself, and then come to find out that never actually happened. Because the Reylo fandom was like, we've never heard of this person before. This person isn't in our group. I don't even know this person exists. And plot twist, this person did not exist. It was someone trying to fabricate and make themselves look like a victim. Eventually Cait owned up to it and then admitted that she did all those things. And it was just exacerbated because, again, there were accusations of racism being thrown about. And she kind of explained this away by blaming substance abuse issues and mental illness. And it's just hard for me as somebody who does have a mood disorder. I know that sometimes we don't always act the way we want to be acting when stuff flares up, but also it's your responsibility as somebody with said disorder to keep yourself in check and try to be mindful in every situation. Is it exhausting sometimes? Yeah, for sure. But it's what you gotta do to be a better person in society, I guess. I don't know. But also, having a mood disorder and having substance abuse doesn't automatically make you do racist stuff. So, yeah. So that's the short Spark Notes versions of what's gone on with Cait Corrain. And I will, again, like I said before, I will reference other videos and in the description, and I will put the names of the authors that were affected on here. So if you want to check out their books, please go ahead and do so. It would be great. I know a lot of people are trying to check them out now to kind of compensate what's been done. So yeah, she ended up losing her. They decided not to publish that book anymore. They were going to publish a sequel that's not coming out anymore. And they kind of, her agency dropped her, and it's sad, it's sad, but also, I don't know why you gotta act that way. And that is not the only unique case of these white women acting like white women. So yeah, let's move on to the other one just to kind of prove my point. And this has all been happening recently. There's many an instance of authors behaving badly. I actually discovered this one YouTuber, and she has a whole series called Authors Behaving Badly. And I don't know if she writes herself. I think this is more from a reader's perspective. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'll put her YouTube channel up here too, because I watched a lot of her videos about this and about some other stuff. And yeah, she's got a whole series called Authors Behaving Badly, and it's just kind of sad that that sort of series has to exist in the first place. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to case number 2. So the second case I want to bring up that's sort of recent too, concerns an author who wrote this book called Nova's Playlist. Her name is Lauren M. Davis. So some background on this person. I believe they are from the South, but they've lived in other different parts of the country. She's a police officer, and I believe this book is independently published. From the cover, it most certainly seems that way. I don't like dogging on other people's creative stuff. That's not what I'm about, but you can very clearly see this is AI generated art, and I'm not really a big fan of AI generated art. I know, like, there's like, you know, everyone was having fun with TikTok filters back in the day when those first came out, and you had all those AI art generated stuff when you put the filter on. Like, that's one thing. But then, you know, using that instead of paying an actual artist to do your stuff, I get it. You want to save money, but like also AI art is theft. They tend to use reference photos to generate new images that the artist didn't consent to being in their database in the first place. If there's a more ethical version of that AI app, that's one thing, but to my knowledge, I don't know if there is one. So that's just the thing. So anyway, dogging on her because her cover is AI. So basically, this all started when this woman decided to go after another author whose name is Marv Michael Anson. So she was posting pictures and synopsises of her book. Yeah, she was posting synopsises of her book, Firstborn of the Sun. And it's basically kind of like her play on different, like, it is a fantasy story that's based upon different folk beliefs or different like folk beliefs or things from a specific part of Africa, right? I believe the author is Nigerian, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to put like a little asterisk at the bottom of the screen because, you know, I just want to make sure I get all my facts right. But yeah, so this person was posting about their upcoming release. Everyone's really excited about it, yippee. And then Miss Davis commented on the post and was kind of like, oh, well, this character doesn't happen to have sun powers or the ability to control the sun, do they? And then the author was like, oh, well, yeah, they do. Then this Miss Davis kept messaging Marv over and over again privately, and talking about how she copyrighted this, and there's a copyright infringement because this character can control the sun, which isn't a new concept at all. Like, hello, Apollo. On that, I mean, not even controlling the sun, but like we've had sun gods since human beings could form thoughts and world building, you know, religion. Yeah, so sun gods or people who can utilize the sun isn't anything new. Like, fuck, I think Superman gets his powers from the sun. There's lots of ways that people can do this, you know, and write this and be creative. It's just like a trope, right? Like, we have several different types of tropes, you know, like enemies to lovers. You can't really, you know, copyright that. And if you're not willing to invest money to get an actual cover art, I don't think you're investing the money for an actual copyright either. But that's just my tea. That's my opinion. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and obviously this was super annoying. Marv ended up blocking this individual, but it really set them off, and they just kind of went on a Twitter tirade from that point on, and kept nagging and bothering this person forever. There are other YouTubers, and I will put the other YouTubers I have on screen, who, you know, who have read this book, so I didn't have to because I don't want to. I'm not tempted by this at all. But basically, even the baselines of the stories are super different. So I already talked about the Firstborn of the Sun and like what that's kind of based on. But Nova's Playlist is like 3 stories within a story, and as with most of these folks, you know, some of their belief systems or some of their subconscious prejudices leak out a little bit in their writing. Side note, I know there's like people who have the argument that they want to separate art from artists, and I know a lot of people try to use that when they're talking about, you know, even authors. Like H.P. Lovecraft's a big racist, and I think that's well known. I mean, you know, he is a man of his time, but also he was particularly not fond of foreigners, and lots of other folks. So it's hard to read his work, especially like, and I love Lovecraftian stuff. I love it for the vibes, but you know, you can see that permeates sometimes with his choice of descriptions for monsters or settings or folks around the town. So, you know, what do we do with that? So I know a lot of people do want to separate the art from the artist. In my opinion, it's hard to do that because if you truly care about your art, no, okay, if you are like, no hate, but like, if you're like a pop star or somebody who just puts out like catchy music, like I bet people enjoy writing catchy music. I think that's great. I love pop music. It's one of my favorite music all time. Is it this super deep artistic experience all the time? No. And I know that, right? Look, surface level crap. Your art might not leak through that because your goal is to put out commercialized, watered down, catchy music that everybody would like. Okay, nothing wrong with that. So in that instance, yeah, maybe you can separate the art from the artist depending on what they did or where your values align. Okay, but if you are somebody who writes or who is an artist who makes very personal projects or puts a lot of effort into these projects, like authors do, they claim they do at least, then you cannot separate art from artists, because in my own experience with my writing, shit leaks out all the time, whether you intend it to or not. Like, even with my dark fantasy series that was supposed to be total whimsy and escapism and stuff, like, a lot of my daddy issues leaked out in there, and a lot of my need for to be surrounded by a loving chosen family leaked out in that. And I didn't know that until I was like rereading it, and I was like, shit, there it is. You know. But like, that's just what happens. Even if you're an artist, you're going to put part of yourself in that. And so I think we need to listen to people when they show us who they really are, period. I'm not saying that people can't make mistakes, because obviously people can make mistakes, but if you do make a mistake, it's just really like, oh shit, my bad, I won't do this anymore, and I'll rectify the damage that's done. Literally it. But this is not what Miss Davis did. She doubled down a lot. So anyway, circling back, her plot wasn't even the same as Marv's plot. It was 3 stories within a story. It's hard to read. From what I understand, the writing is not super amazing. Oh, and I should include this. So Miss Davis went after Marv, right? Marv is signed on with the agency that Miss Davis applied to a long time ago and was rejected from. I wonder why. I wonder why she went after this particular person. So for Miss Davis, she kept arguing that, like, oh, they must have read my manuscript and this girl is plagiarizing me because of some sort of sun connection, right? So they probably just stole my work that way. Instead of understanding that and accepting rejection and understanding that maybe there's things that she could work on to better her work, no, it's easier to make up some sort of conspiracy theory that somebody stole your work and is now trying to profit off of it. Okay. So her book, like I said, 3 stories within a story. One of them at some point is like a girl time traveling and going to being caught up in a slave auction, even though she's white, and getting sold off. And there's derogatory language used when she's interacting with a Native American group of folks. And then she's flirting with an African man who's being sold into slavery, and apparently he's like flexing for her, and like there's some guy named Rebel who is fighting back against the slave owners and stuff. Girl, it's a little all over the place. It's a little all over the place. And then so it's like, but then that whole story was actually a video game that was being played by this secondary character. And from what I understand, there's not a lot going on in that plot. They kind of exist for a second, and then plot twist, this is a story written by someone named Nova, and apparently they have the power to control the sun, and they are the African American person being reference, because Davis also said, well, my character is black too, so obviously they're the same. Yeah, so that's kind of what it is. And the sun stuff doesn't even come about in that book specifically. It was like a snapshot for whatever sequel may come about from this. Okay, so that is the story. A little all over the place, but that's what it is. Clearly, these books don't have that many similarities. Even the agent representing Marv had to speak out about it, and, you know, use professional language online to say, like, no, this was not inspired by this in any capacity. So clearly people were just saying that just the language that Miss Davis used to support her theory of her art being stolen, even though she uses AI art, of her writing being stolen, was that, like, oh, well, this Marv is from Nigeria, and Nigeria is a country where lots of internet scams happen, so therefore she must be scamming me, which, again, I don't need to explain, is a huge sweeping generalization, and it has racism in it. So so that's happened, and people were calling her out for saying, like, hey, this is, you know, a prejudiced take, maybe don't do that. But instead of apologizing, she kept doubling down, and she really listed every single interaction she's ever had with an African American person to prove that she is not racist. But if you look at her online activity too, there's plenty of instances of her, like, being a big Trump supporter, her commenting negative things on, like, Joe Biden's initiative to include, like, for black education within this country. She was like, okay, well, what about white people? What about Asians? And then, you know, she perpetuated anti-Asian rhetoric by saying that, like, China gave us COVID. Yeah. So she, big Trump supporter, kind of uses the rhetoric and language you would think one would use, and then double downs on not being racist by listing every single positive interaction she's had with an African American person in her life. I don't think this person, there's some people who just don't understand the internet, or they don't understand effective communication in general, and I think this has proven that she might be one of them. So yeah, now talking about review bombing, now she claims that people are review bombing her work because of the whole controversy that happened. Now, is this a marketing tactic? Is being a public racist a marketing tactic to get people to read your books? I don't know. Are you desperate enough to do that? That's my question. Yeah. So, and then also too, it's just kind of hard because she's posted like tweets and stuff about her being on the banned book list now, or her book being banned because the ebook version apparently got taken down off of Amazon, even though the print version is still online. It's just hard because that's not what that means, because a business making the executive decision to no longer sell your work is different than, like, a governing body or overarching, like, group saying that you are not allowed to read something. Those two concepts are very different. But again, people like to be the victim, so that's kind of what's gone on with her. Obviously, check out Marv's book coming out. I'm sure a lot of people are. People are writing 1-star reviews for Nova's playlist, maybe because of what happened, but also it's just not written very well. I think you can make that argument if the work itself was interesting, or, you know, well, I'm not saying it's not interesting, but I mean, if it was worth its snuff, you know, there'd be more pushback or people defending it, but they're not. So, you know, I don't know. So yeah, that's the second thing that's happened recently, and I just kind of want to talk about it. Like, I never talk about drama on this channel, really, especially not author drama. But it's just, I'm not on Twitter, I'm on Threads. I've never been on Twitter because I don't really like Elon Musk. And I was on Twitter, I made a Twitter account years ago just to see what the hubbub was about, and I didn't get it. I never got Twitter. I, like, followed the Pope and then I left. Just, you know? So, but I've been on Threads, and I feel like Threads in the beginning was, like, such a fun place to network and, like, meet other authors, because book people really flocked to Threads. And that was really cool. But then a lot of people started, like, rage baiting and, like, what I assume doing Twitter type strategies and bringing that to Threads. And even authors that I followed because I was interested in their work or who they were as a person all the time they just rage bait now, or what's it called, virtue signaling, or they do that too. And I'm like, I know what this is. Like, this is just a method of engagement. Like, guys, stop. Like, I hate talking about drama. I hate perpetuating it, but I feel like I need to just be like a voice of reason, or even if I'm just venting myself, like, I don't know which, but it's just so hard, because even people that I kind of admired, I see them doing these bad behaviors, or when people call them out on their bad behaviors, just doubling down and saying stupid bullshit because they think that, I don't know. I don't know if they think they're a victim or what. But yeah, so I just kind of want this to be a PSA to my peers, to be like, please calm down. Please stop. It costs nothing to just be quiet. It literally, silence is free. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, right? You don't have to. Like, obviously, I don't mean this for like speaking up against like injustices going on. Like, that is like, you know, obviously something we should all be doing. But I just think for a long time, and I don't know if this is specific to book stuff or if it's just society as a whole. I don't think there's certain people in this world that just do not care until it affects them, and then they act like they are the only person to have ever suffered ever. And I'm just kind of tired of seeing that. This is a huge systemic problem, especially in the Caucasian author community, which again, I'm part of. I just want to make that clear. You know, and I really think we need to start holding each other accountable more, and so that we don't embarrass ourselves all the goddamn time. Because here's the thing, like, we're still the majority by far. Yeah, some publishing houses or some people are uplifting marginalized voices more. That does not take away from your authorship whatsoever. Like, the audience is the same. Like, it's not an us versus them thing. It's like all of us. So like, if somebody who is getting more attention than you in your space is succeeding, cheer for them, because guess what? Authors promote other authors all the time. Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to try to tear each other down. It's just, I don't get it, because even if you look at the statistics of who is being published, it's still predominantly white folks. Okay? Damn. Like, you know, I try to diversify my bookshelf, and I've been reading, you know, books from people who don't look like me, right? And I thoroughly enjoy that. I love learning new things about new people. And, you know, if we want things to be on a more level playing field, then we ourselves have to be consumers of that content, right? But these people don't think like that. They just think that like everything has to work in absolute terms, that there's like one round pie and everybody gets a piece of it. When in reality, that's just not how the market works. Also, I just want to point out that like, we're not special. We're not. We are not. This is actually something that I've been wanting to tell folks for a long time, myself included, right? There's no such thing as special. There really isn't. You have people who are immensely talented and who might come up with like these stories that nobody's ever heard of, but that is not commonplace. And in fact, most of the stories that are successful are inspired by other things, recognize their inspiration, and they like just put their own spin on it. You know what I mean? Like, unique ideas are so hard to come by, and this is something that I want to stress to other creatives out there, is that you need to get over this ego thing. You will kill yourself. Truthfully, if you like wrestle with your ego that much instead of just letting it go to the point where like you cannot stomach the sight of others succeeding and you have to try to sabotage them, you're only making yourself look stupid. Like, that's just the thing. You're only making yourself look stupid. Like, are jealousy and envy natural human emotions? Oh, hell yeah. Do I feel those a lot? Yeah, I do. I see other people post on Instagram and I see them doing authors events that I want to do, or I see them promoting certain people and I'm like, why isn't that me? Those are natural feelings, but you cannot like punish other people for feelings that you have, period, because it's just like insecurities that you need to work on. And I don't know where these people get off. And obviously it is like a degree of privilege, right? Like, you know, our society is so good about championing white mediocrity that whenever excellence comes from a different community, it's like people can't even know, they don't even know what to do with themselves over it. You know what I mean? And I'm so tired of white people being catered to and like white mediocrity being the standard. It's like, okay, then do better, write better. Like, if you're so threatened by these folks, right, write better, do better, work on your craft, you know, ask them for pointers. Like, hey, like, where did you learn how to do this? You know, it goes for all art forms, and it goes for a lot of things. And it's just like, we don't have to do this. Like, we don't have to just show our asses all the goddamn time. And I know I've been ripping on white people, and like, technically anyone can do this, but the most public bad behaviors that I've seen from authors have been from people of my own community, you know? And I just, it costs nothing to just shush and keep all that business to yourself. You know what I mean? And I don't know if this is tactful rage baiting or just people being dumb or what. Like, I really don't know. And I'm just kind of wrestling with this myself. And yeah, I don't know. I guess my last thing that I wanted to hit on was the fact that, like, I just think it's so counterproductive now for authors to be tearing each other down. Especially in this age of like writing strikes and AI and like all this other stuff where like the industry is literally trying to kill creativity, you know, like, and there's plenty of writing is a hard job, right? You know, I know people idolize it and they're like, oh, I want to be an author someday. I want to write a bestseller. I want to write a book. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. If you don't love the craft, you won't do it. It is so time consuming. It's emotionally draining. It's so difficult, like, just to sit down and do it and have the discipline to do it and have the skills and technique to do it. But also it's like you have to write and then you have to be a content creator and like put your face out there and try to constantly market your book all the time, especially if you're like me and you're an independent author. You don't have the resources for that. I don't have an agent. I don't have a marketing team. I don't have a business team. I'm literally grasping at straws half the time. I'm trying to figure out how to like organize my life better to do all this. So granted, it's already hard. Why make it harder for each other by doing all this stupid Twitter beef? With AI and everyone convincing us that like we don't need writing skills in the corporate America because Canva and AI will just like do it all for us, you know what I mean? And that and like the writer strikes in Hollywood, it's been going on forever, and just people aren't getting paid what they should be getting paid for their work. And part of it is like, I know the executives feel like, you know, they keep releasing the same stuff and people aren't consuming media the same way they were in the old days. One is because we're all fucking poor. Like, let's be so for real. Like, sometimes TV and entertainment is a luxury that people can't afford, and that's okay. You know, that's just how it is. We're all poor. We're in a recession and nobody wants to admit it. You know, shit is so expensive. Life is so hard. I don't get why people are making it harder. I don't get why people are showing their asses online and like making life harder for folks that are already going through it. Like, we're all going through it to some degree, some more than others. And it's just like, you really want to do this in this day and age of 2023? Are you serious? Like, I just want creative unity. I don't want people giving hot takes online and rage baiting and getting people to cuss at them, and then all of a sudden they get engagement now. So now they're just going to post all these think pieces that they think are, that makes them feel so special and unique, and that nobody's had these ideas anymore, even though they've been around for literally centuries. Like, a book I'm writing right now deals with a lot of philosophy and psychology and kind of nihilism in a way, but like, I'm not going to pretend like I invented nihilism. I'm not going to pretend like nobody's ever had these thoughts before. That's like the crux of the book, right? Is because the main character thinks that they're kind of special because they have an education, they left their hometown, and now they're back. But in reality, everyone feels that way. Even if they don't have the words necessarily to put to those feelings, everybody's had these feelings before. So no, you're not fucking special, okay? Nobody stole your shit. People aren't plagiarizing you. I'm tired of people showing their asses because they're insecure. Stop being insecure. God damn it. It's okay. It's okay to be insecure, but don't take it out on people. Don't post hot takes. You're driving me crazy. Okay, that's it. Oh, that's the video. That's the video. Oh my God. Okay, well, thank you for listening to me, bitch. For like ever about this stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what to call this video. This is Writers Wednesdays. Hello, I'm a writer. If you want to see more videos, let me know by commenting down below, liking the video, sharing it with a friend, and subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to me to get engagement so I can exist. So that I can exist and you know, pay my bills and write and sell my books to you. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Bye.